Let go. Come on. Get up here. Let go. No, no, not that way. Not that way. That's the wires. No, 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 no. Nope. Nope. You ain't doing that. There you go. There you go. What is up with you and wires, huh? Hmm? What is it with you and wires? Alright, fine, don't tell me. Alright, well, day 11. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing this out of order. 7:41 p.m. 7/11/2025. Day 11 of building a custom Beyblade X Stadium. I received a little bit of a teasing humor from a fellow Beyblader. And he was like, hey, hey, hey. Which one was it? Yeah, this one. Dude was basically saying, hey, where's the others? I know there's more than attack and defense for Beyblade. Where are the others, Menace? Yeah, I had them drawn out. I just didn't have them painted yet. I apologize. I'm literally doing that now. I'm just taking a slight breather and doing an update to catch everybody else up to speed. I don't have the words on here yet, and to be fair, it does take me a little bit longer to actually space it all out the way that I want to for each one, because I gotta use this thing. I have not used one of these since I was... I think 9, actually. I think 9 years old. So I have not used this in over a decade, so it has taken me a little bit of time to go into it. And I'm not tracing this out either, I'm just slapping it down and painting over it. Just to speed things up slightly. And I know that ruins it a little bit, but then I don't have to worry about painting inside the lines. So I can just go ahead and do this how I want to. And the process that I'm doing is I literally space out the letters in my mind. Okay, so how many letters do I have for each word? Which one's at the center or the closest to it? Okay. Once I figure that out, I put one down near the top, and then I slowly try to arch it around. Now, I could just keep it flat, but then that gets kind of boring. And this one offers me a bit more creativity when I do it this way. So for defense, E was the middle letter, and then I just slowly curve it around. For attack, it was T and A that were at the middle. So I just tried to do the best I can with that one, since there was no real middle letter. For this one, stamina, it'd actually be M, so I gotta start with M, and then branch it off there. This one, I actually had a bit more fun with, because it's balance. Balance is only achieved by going through imbalance. So in order to get balance, you must first find the right balance when you have no balance. So I purposely tried to space the letters out in a way that mess with people's... What was it again? OCD? Is that what it was? The part of your mind that tells you this bothers me. I was trying to mess with that. Because they take one look at this and they want to find balance. And there is no real balance to the letters here. This one's further down. This one's further up. There's a bunch of spacing in here. It looks awful. It looks really awful, and I did that on purpose, and I absolutely love that because it looks downright awful. So they look at that and they want to find balance because they know that there is no balance inside these letters, and that's exactly why I did that in the first place. It's my way of having fun. I was hoping to have this step done by now, but it's taken me a little bit longer than I thought it would. I said I was going to make a drawer for this. I did. I got the drawer built. It's just I decided to go ahead and paint the drawer since it's going to be black like the other ones. But it's taking me just a little bit longer because the part that I used on the outside had a QR code on it. So I got to take extra time to make sure that that code completely disappears. I thought I could just spray it twice with black paint and that would be it. No. After the second coating, it was still showing a bit. So I just applied a third coating, and you can't see it because of the light, but it's literally right in here. Alright? It's still there. So I'm going to check it again in a few minutes, and if it's still showing, I'll spray it a fourth time, and then a fifth, a sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th if necessary. I'm going to keep spraying until that QR code's gone. Yeah, I see you eyeballing my fingers. Silly kitty. As for this section, I put another piece of cardboard here. I felt like the storage bin for the chargers that I had made, it wasn't really as great as I could have made it. It felt kind of loose. So I added an additional piece here in order to beef up its durability on the side. So when the chargers lean toward one side or the other, it's not going to, make the little storage bin bend and break. As for this top section, I'm not going to worry about that currently. My current objective is to get the bottom base done. So what I'm going to do here, just need to find a good image I can use to explain. Okay, well this is a good start. I got little lines here that I drew across early on when I was making it, and I did that as a way to measure out the bottom, actually, for when I applied no, not that. Where was it? That's where I just was. Yeah, this section. I did those lines so I could actually determine where this was going to go. And that helped me determine where this whole section was going to fit on the bottom. But there was another reason why I drew those lines. Drawing those lines not only helped me determine where the bottom was going to be, but it also helped add little bits of space on top as spacers, so that I could actually determine where these are going to go. The little battle deck boxes. And as I've stated, the rounded ones are a lot bigger than the rectangular ones. So I'm measuring out for these ones, and just like I thought when I put the rectangular one inside the space for this one, it fit in there. It really did. There was plenty of space for it to be held. So that all checks out just like I thought it would. And I got little lines drawn now around here. And I got it as close to center with this section as I possibly could. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be using an older engineering technique. This technique is actually used by engineers all the time to create things like stages and platforms. So what they do is they have a basic level here, like let's say this piece of cardboard right here where my mouse is, let's say that's hardwood. And you want a hardwood stadium, but a stadium needs to be elevated. So what they do is they create a platform using thinner boards, and it creates spacing underneath it to help spread the weight across. And then they put the layer on top of that, creating a secondary layer, and that secondary layer is where you stand. However, I'm also going to be implying onto the fact that I said, I don't think implying is the right word, actually. I think that might have a different definition than what I was using it for just now. Doesn't matter. I'm going back to the fact where I said the deck boxes. I'm going to purposely create a pocket in there so that these can actually sit slightly inward, but still be exposed just enough to where you can actually grab your Beys. So it won't be like all the other standees out there where they don't have a spot to put it, or it's just hanging off of the side and you go to grab it and suddenly, oh crap, my Beys! They'll just fall out or something. Because I've seen some pretty bad mishaps regarding that. There was actually one instance where somebody went to grab one of their Beys, and the whole middle section where the standee was completely caved in, along with the Beyblade X Stadium and their opponent's Beys too. It was a nasty engineering failure. It really was. A lot of people make their standees to be pretty darn cheap by design, but even though mine's made out of a lot of cheap materials, it's actually way more advanced than theirs are now. I was talking to a few other Beybladers about this, and they actually agree that this is probably the most advanced Beyblade X Stadium that they've actually seen. And yes, I admit I could have used better materials. I've stated that before. I don't know when, but I know I did. I had the same conversation with my father, who actually did a lot of engineering work inside the military. Alright, I understand. I understand the concern. I get it. I used cardboard. I could have used some strong, durable plastic or something. I could have, but I didn't. I get it. Plus, I already bought all this stuff, so I might as well recycle it and use it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to elevate this section by... I don't know the exact measurement I used, but I know it was below 1.5 inches, but just above 1 inch. Unfortunately, I underestimated how much of that I would actually need. I have the amount of cardboard I need, it's just going to take me a bit more time to cut it all out. So, by estimations, I need about maybe 20 long pieces in order to do what I want to do fully. But right now I only have 3 3/4, which is a far cry from the amount I need. And anybody who takes engineering classes or industrial classes, woodworking, etc., one of the rules they teach you, a very important rule going all the way back to the foundations of actual construction work, is you measure twice, cut once. In other words, I can't just measure all these out in rapid succession and cut them all out in one go. I gotta measure out each piece individually and then cut it out. In order to measure it out, I gotta literally take a ruler, go down a piece, and go across. How far I gotta go? I gotta do this 1, 2, 5, sometimes 7 or even 9 times to get the actual feel for the piece. And then I gotta take another piece, and I gotta take a pencil, and I gotta trace it across the dots. And then I gotta cut it out carefully with a certain type of knife, and it's just taking me way longer than I thought it would. So, for the time being, I'm taking a slight breather, and I'm just making this update video. And as soon as this is over, I have to go back at it. And I don't want to, but I have to, because that is the way of industrial work. It's never over until it's over, and it can't be over until you're done. But yeah, it's coming closer and closer with the passing days. Once I get the whole base done for this, then I'm going to focus on this piece and that'll pretty much be it. After that, I just gotta wait for my last part to arrive, which probably won't be till the end of this month. And then I can finish the remaining decal work I got to on top of there. And there's one more thing I'm gonna add around here, but that's pretty much it. We're literally almost done now. Other than the word stamina there, which won't take me that long. Just an hour tops. Whoops, too far. My bad. My brain's dying. I've been doing this too long today. I know I didn't get the proportions for these correct. I did try. I didn't have anything to trace with. I didn't have any logos to actually trace from. So I had to literally look at a picture online and draw it all by hand. But I think it turned out okay. And in any case, I'm literally just about at the end now. I've officially reached the 3/4 marker stage, so I'm literally 75% done. I could actually battle inside it right now if I wanted to. It would actually hold up perfectly. But I'm going to wait till it's finished. And then I'll make a very amusing, very funny video about all the unique features that it has, and I'm sure it'll get a couple laughs and maybe a little bit of praise while it's at it. Because this is a pretty good darn model that I've actually made. But I'm going to go ahead and get back to it. So, a lot more to do here. I do not believe I'm going to have this whole area done by the next video. In fact, I'm confident, because it's going to take me a crap ton of time cutting out those pieces. And actually, I gotta make a trip tomorrow as well. We'll look at that in a moment. I gotta make a trip tomorrow to 2 different places. And if I got the math right in my head, it'll probably take away I think close to an hour 30 minutes of my time, because I gotta drive down there, I gotta do what I gotta do, and then I gotta drive back. So yeah, that'll be fun. Lego! You're not biting my wires anymore? Oh, okay. I love my cat. Alright. I'm gonna go back to it. I'll see you all in tomorrow's update, which probably won't be anything too eventful, other than this box here. Bye.